And welcome back to episode 14 of Stirring the Pot. We are a little short-staffed this week. It is what we like to call from summer camp, the Big Three. I've got Cameron and RJ by my side. Gabe cannot be here. He is carrying the station basketball team tonight. And Andrew could not be here because he's too smart for us, or so he thinks. Guys, on a short-staffed night, how we doing?
Doing good, man. I'm ready to talk about these two teams in particular in the Super Bowl. Not really who we wanted, but still, it's a Super Bowl. I think we got to enjoy it. But it's good to be back, as usual, per weekly. I'm excited.
Yeah, I don't like any of these teams, but the Super Bowl is a Super Bowl. So let's just get it over with.
Let's run it.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of have to talk about the Super Bowl. I mean, we are a football podcast, so coming around to the end of all football at this, we are going to be talking later on in the episode about Chiefs 49ers, the matchup that nobody wanted. And before we get into that, we've got a bit of a fun night ahead of us for the NFL. We have got NFL honors tonight. And for you guys, before we get into the Super Bowl predictions for us and a little overview of the two teams' seasons, we're going to go over some predictions for the awards tonight. Now, this is being recorded before all of the awards have been given out, so this is all our opinions. Nothing has been finalized yet.
Currently 7:41 p.m. Eastern as we speak.
Yes.
So
and all of our phones are on silent, I'm hoping. Cam's is
mine's
now
always on silent.
Mine is pretty much always on silent. But guys, let's get right into it, and let's get right into the center of it. We are going to be talking about the AP Most Valuable Player. Now, last year's winner was one of the most hated men in the NFL currently, Mr. Patrick Mahomes. And I mean, being most hated comes with being the best. Yeah. And this year, thankfully, we do not have Patrick Mahomes on this list. It's a little different. But there are 5 nominees this year. We've got Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen, Mr. Turnover. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest. Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson. We've got a little bit of a skill position battle here. We've got San Francisco 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey doing the skill positions proud. And then Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, turnover machine. And then San Fran hosting another MVP candidate in Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy. Guys, what are your thoughts?
I thought you were going to say the other name. Anna Frey.
I thought you were going to say Dak Prescott, the second most hated man in the NFL.
No, I'd say he's the most hated team, the most hated fan base.
No, I don't
know. The Eagles fan base is very hated.
Very hated.
Yeah.
It's very well. You want to go first? You want me to go?
I mean, I can kick it off.
All right, let's do it.
So there has been a lot of discussion about this all year, and going throughout the year, we thought that 2 skill positions were going to be in this race. We thought it was going to be McCaffrey and Tyreek Hill, but ever since the end of the season came around, Tyreek Hill did kind of fall out of that race a little bit, but Christian McCaffrey remains here, and I've got 2 predictions. One of them is who I think should win it, and the other one is who I think is going to win it. So the man that I think is going to win it, I think pretty obviously, Lamar. Lamar had a really impressive season this year, and I mean, it just wasn't a great quarterback year, you know? I think that's why we're seeing McCaffrey here, because MVP in the past couple years and in the past decade or so.
It's the quarterback award.
It's a quarterback award, yeah. And it's been categorized as a quarterback award. But who I think deserves it is not a quarterback. I think McCaffrey really deserves it. Because without Christian McCaffrey, they would not be in the Super Bowl right now. That is the most important trade that the 49ers have made in this century so far, I believe. It's a complete franchise-changing move.
I'll go next here. I think my prediction is obvious, but I'm going to give some backing as to why. Obviously, the current favorite as of right now, and I think has been for the past couple of weeks, regardless even of how the playoffs ended for him, was Lamar Jackson. And that reason why is because during the brightest of lights in those games that mattered, I'm going to give 2 examples here, at San Francisco and at home against Miami, he lit both of those teams up. Now, Miami's defense, I wouldn't say it's as impressive, but given the situation, I think it gives it more value. But at San Francisco, playing arguably clearly one of the two best teams in the NFL, as they are in the Super Bowl representing the NFC, I think you really have to give this award to Lamar because of how he played. They blew out San Francisco in San Francisco, and it caught everybody shell-shocked. They wanted to give him the award then and there. I think you saw it all over ESPN, all over everywhere, saying, give Lamar this trophy.
Yeah, because, at that point, it was Purdy's to lose. Purdy was the runaway favorite at that point. I think betting odds had him at about minus 10,000 at that point because he was just carrying what was by far the best team in the NFL because the Eagles had fallen off by then. The Cowboys pulled the Cowboys. And Brock Purdy just, again, threw that MVP away. Was it 4 picks in that game? 3 or 4?
I believe so, 3 or 4.
Disclaimer, we do not promote gambling. Just to let y'all know this right now. We do not promote gambling.
We do not promote underage gambling.
Yes.
But yes, those were just the ESPN odds that were there. But now I believe Lamar is the favorite. Cam, didn't you say something about Dak being the favorite?
Dak was the favorite from that time. He was just throwing darts to CeeDee Lamb. He was like that those 3 weeks.
That was around middle of the season. I think that's when they gave him
typical.
All right, do you want me to go?
Yeah, you can go.
All right, so I think who should win it is Josh Allen, and I'll give you a reason why. Because let's be real. Okay, in midseason, the Bills were in no position to make the playoffs, but the second they fired that offensive coordinator, who'd they get again?
Oh, they fired
Ken Dorsey, who's now current Cleveland Browns offensive coordinator.
Yes, and they hired. Who was it?
Whatever. Whoever they hired.
Was it Joe Brady?
It was Joe Brady.
Joe Brady.
Yes.
Once they hired,
30-year age difference.
Once they hired Joe Brady, I think Josh Allen finally he felt free and he could do whatever he wanted. Like he was throwing bombs to Diggs and giving off to Davis and all those guys. But who I think, what was it? What are you gonna say?
No, you can go. I just want to say something after.
But I think I think Josh Allen's going to win it, but who I would want to win is Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. As you were saying that right there, I just thought to myself, you were talking about the switch between the OC. Do you think that is something that would hinder Josh Allen's odds because of them switching coordinators? And would you think that the OC is more to credit for Allen's success?
I think it does hinder his success, but yet again, it also helped him. It's like it's like a double-edged sword.
Well, yeah, but it would help elevate his success, but would it take down from his MVP case?
I don't think it does because he still played. Even though he was he was just starting slow, he still played pretty well.
Yeah, but these analysts for these awards do look into everything, and I think with the firing of Dorsey and the bringing in of Joe Brady, I think that would do a significant amount of damage to Allen's MVP case.
I'm going to stop you right there, and for a reason that I don't think is being talked about enough. Joe Brady was a part of that Buffalo Bills staff when Dorsey was still the offensive coordinator.
That is very true. I did forget about that.
Basically, what you're saying here is, someone who got promoted from something with pass game coordination, he got bumped up after Dorsey got fired. That's not going to really put much hindering of anything. He's still in that staff. He was on that staff to begin the year. And even when Allen was throwing those hero-like wannabe balls that kept getting picked off, I think really what elevated his game and bumped him up to being in this conversation was their ability to finally get their run game going. Because before they had James Cook, everybody was like, where is this two-dimensional offense? It's only passing. That run game getting unlocked also has to do with Allen's success. I think that's something that's not being talked about enough as well. And something before, I will say this as well on my case before we switch awards, with Lamar Jackson, that him being my pick is because of what Todd Monken has done to unlock that Baltimore offense, and along with Zay Flowers. The combo of them two, and then even Keaton Mitchell, his early success before he got injured, getting another run game, a speed back. Gus Edwards, him still doing his thing. You got to consider those as well. It's not the main reason why he won it, but it helps his case. Having that unlocked ability, having a new coordinator coming out of Georgia, Monken with those superstar level Georgia teams. He was coordinating those offenses. So I really think, though, Lamar, I mean, he played amazing when they needed him to. He's the reason why they're there, and you can clearly tell him not being on the field, especially the last game of the year, because they had the 1 seed locked up. You could tell like how much he means to that offense and their skill players. So I think that's why he's going to win it. But I think you could also make cases for just about anybody on this list.
Yeah. And, I mean, that is the main award that we needed to talk about. We can go through these next ones a little faster because some of them have pretty clear-cut winners, I believe. But on to OPOY, Offensive Player of the Year. Should I start again with that one?
I'll start.
You start?
Yeah, I think it should be Tyreek Hill.
Oh?
I really – okay. If he doesn't get injured, he gets 2,000 yards receiving.
But he got injured.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's the only thing that will hinder him from it. But other than that, I think he deserves it.
Who do you think is going to win it?
Probably Christian or Lamar. I mean, I'm not thinking Dak Prescott or anything. I don't.
Huh.
It's a very weird list.
That's a really weird OPOY list. So if you guys have not seen the list come out, the list for this is Tyreek, Lamar, CeeDee Lamb, Christian McCaffrey, and Dak. Which, I mean,
That's very strange.
it's a really weird list.
That's what I'm saying. I think Tyreek should win it by it's either going to be Christian or Lamar.
Yeah, I'm going to take it from there. I'm going to take a little bit of a pivot from there. I think Christian McCaffrey is going to win it, but I think a very great season leading the league, I think CeeDee Lamb should win it. I think McCaffrey will end up winning it because he had all of the system around him. He had everything, and he just absolutely excelled in Shanahan's offense. But I think the more deserving candidate is CeeDee Lamb.
I'm really glad you brought that up because you actually were about to steal my thundering point I was about to have. I really think that McCaffrey will end up winning it just because of what he brings to that offense and what just not him being on the field. You can tell they have to like switch it up. They have to switch game plan.
Yeah, you see it when Elijah Mitchell's on the field.
Absolutely. You saw that when McCaffrey was hurt and was out a couple of games. But I really think, though, looking at CeeDee Lamb and looking what he has done, leading the league in receptions, he was second in yards. I believe only the Tyreek Hill was first. He was third in touchdowns. I really think if you look at what he's done for this Dallas offense, and that helps Prescott a lot, I think he's the reason why Dak Prescott's even on that list.
Yeah.
I mean, you really got to give him that type of credit and what he did for Dallas, and obviously his big plays, notably that big play against Seattle on that Thursday Night Football game in Dallas. I think you really got to look at that and say his progression has been incredible for them. It's been what Dallas has needed. They still have to figure some things out, but just looking at this award overall, I think CeeDee Lamb really, if Dallas would have made it further, I think he could have won it, but I think you really got to give it to Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you there. And, I mean, for CeeDee Lamb this year, we all thought that the Cowboys' offense would look a lot different after giving away Amari Cooper to the Browns. CeeDee Lamb has stepped into that role and honestly exceeded that role, especially with the down year from Tony Pollard. CeeDee Lamb was absolutely crucial to the Cowboys' regular season success. And yes, I said regular season success because the Cowboys do not know how to play in the playoffs. Now, on to a little bit more of a controversial one. We've got Depoy. And the candidates this year, my apologies, I've been very sick recently and my voice is very nasally. We have got Cowboys corner Deron Bland, Raiders D-end Max Crosby, Cleveland Browns defensive end Myles Garrett. RJ will be pumping his fist talking about him. Dallas Cowboys linebacker Micah Parsons, we are, and Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker TJ Watt. Guys, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to go last on this one. So,
and I know exactly who you're going to say should win it. So I think, personally, it is a 3-horse race. I think you can pretty much take, in my opinion, you can take Bland and Crosby out of this race. I think it's between these three. And I think the only two candidates that deserve to be there and deserve to have a shot at this are Garrett and Parsons. And I think it's going to be like that for years to come. But looking at everything here, there's a lot of things to consider. I think Micah Parsons is a lot more versatile of a player. I think he adds a lot more to the Cowboys defense then Garrett adds to the Browns defense. But with the stats this year and everything, I do think you have to give it to Myles Garrett. I think he's just had an absolutely exceptional season. He's a big part of why the Browns were so good this year, despite a lot of injuries on both sides of the ball. I do think that it could go either way. I do think Garrett or Parsons should get it. The only reason I think TJ Watt would get snubbed of this award is because of his injury. I think that's the only reason. And I mean, was he still number 1 in sacks?
Yes.
I believe so.
Man, I just hate the Steelers. I think it's between Garrett and Parsons just because I hate the Steelers. But I'm going to have to go Garrett. I think he deserves it more.
I was also going to say Garrett.
You're saying
we have a
Garrett?
consensus of Garrett.
Yeah. And I know Artie's going to say Garrett.
I was actually waiting for some competition, so now I'm kind of disappointed that it's kind of consensus. But being a Browns fan and kind of watching him game by game, I'm really going to give it's more of a personal take, but also backing it up. I really think he doesn't show up in the sack chart this year as much as the top 5-ish, because he was, with 15 sacks, tied 8th in the league. Obviously, guys like Hendrickson, Watt,
Yeah, baby.
and I believe, who am I missing? Parsons. They were both all ahead of him. But I really think you really need to look at injuries, and I really think that's, with this Cleveland Browns team, obviously, as everybody knows, basically a fourth of our roster was on IR, most of those being starters. You really need to look at what Garrett does. I mean, he's, I believe, almost in every pressure metric, he's always like 1 or 2. So you got to bring that into account of how he allows his team around him to play as well, including him. I think that's something that kind of gets a little bit overlooked. But I really think for Garrett, he played a good season. He was really good with Zadarius Smith being added as well. So I think him in that pass rush, forcing 4 fumbles, which is tied 3rd in the league, I think that's something that was his best thing he did this year, in my opinion. I really think forcing those fumbles, and those being crucial fumbles as well. The one in Indy, I think, is the one that gets kind of talked about the most, getting that fumble 6 in the end zone on Minshew. I really think that ended that game and was the reason why we won it. If that never happened, obviously, I don't think we would have won. But I really think it's between Garrett and Watt. Obviously, Parsons' great season. I love Parsons. I love what he's doing. I think he's going to be really great for years to come. It's going to be him and Garrett most likely. But I really think, though, with Watt, I think it's the position game that everybody likes to bring in, like, oh, they compare stats, but they do play different positions. One is an outside linebacker, and one is the defensive end. So that's something to kind of bring in. Like, yes, Watt is incredible. As much as I hate saying it, he's incredible. I hate playing against him twice a year, and he does amazing stuff. But I really think here, if you're going on overall success and how we had that league-leading defense led by Myles Garrett, I really think you need to put that into account. And I really think Myles did that the best, and I really think that's why he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously you as a Browns fan, you're thinking this is a long time coming for Garrett. He has been snubbed a few times. He has been taken out of the race a lot earlier than what we have hoped for. But now on to the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Again, I think you can pretty much take 2 of these candidates out. As much as a great end of season he had, I do not think Jahmyr Gibbs belongs in the top 3 for this. Again, great player. Everyone thought that was a bit of a reach for the Lions, and he proved every single one of those doubters wrong. But it was just the production. It tailed off, and there was pretty much nothing for the first half of the year. Then they finally started to use him in the offense, and he flourished. So maybe we'll see, I'm assuming he's going to be in the first 3 rounds of fantasy, if not the first 2 rounds of fantasy drafts next year. But I think another one we can take off this list pretty confidently is Arthur Smith's, quote, project, Bijan Robinson. Falcons fans, you can thank Arthur Smith for not doing anything with 3 of the most talented players on offense I think I've seen in the last decade. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and now Bijan Robinson. So next year with Raheem Morris, all you Falcons fans out there, sayonara, you are going to be having a great, fun time watching your team for once. But on to the main 3 candidates, I believe. We've got Cam's boy, the one that nobody believed in. Nobody believed in him. And the person, other than C.J. Stroud, obviously, the rookie that I think impacted his team the most. I think Laporta had a much larger impact than Puka did. Obviously, Puka broke the rookie receiving record this year, but I think Sam Laporta had a much bigger impact on his team. That team needed a tight end after the Hawkinson trade, and it was very apparent. Cam, I'm going to send it to you first.
Yeah, you all doubted me when I played Narcos music and drafted him in the 5th round. Guess what? That's my boy. That's my son right there.
That ended up being a really good pick.
Yeah. And David Montgomery was also a really good pick, and no one believed me too.
Yes, it was. And if we get to the people that we are taking for this award, I'm assuming it's going to be consensus because I think
CJ Stroud.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much run away.
Yeah, he's not.
Puka had a great season. It's the greatest rookie receiver of all time.
Yeah, I think
according to stats.
I think the list should be, if it's top 3 finalists, it should be CJ, Laporte, and Nakua. Well, just in that order.
I don't know about in that order.
Or
I think the stats back up Puka a lot more,
Yeah.
but I think Sam Laporta had a much bigger impact
Yeah.
than him. It goes without saying on the stat sheet. But Puka Nakua, you had the greatest rookie receiving season of all time, but to no avail. We have a new star quarterback in Houston, and he is very obviously going to win over, in my opinion. That is CJ Stroud. And I hated him when he was at Ohio State, and now I love the guy. It just goes to show you, goes around, comes around.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully he doesn't go to any massage parlors.
Okay, we're going to edit that out. RJ.
I think this is an obvious award, and I think it's mostly for what he did in the regular season, but also, I mean, they say it's not really playoff awards, but, I mean, they take it into some consideration. I think over the years it can be proven, but I really think C.J. Stroud, it makes me personally happy. Growing up an Ohio State fan, seeing we have no good quarterbacks, and now C.J. Stroud comes in, blows the proportions out of the water. He's been amazing. Him, D'Amico, I love what D'Amico's doing down there in Houston. I think he was the home run higher by a mile. But really what C.J. Stroud did, and also kind of unlocking Nico Collins, Tank Dell when he was there before he was hurt, he was having a great year as well. But I really think it's Stroud or Nakua, I think, in my opinion. But Puka I think he went nuts. Having the 9th most receptions in the league at 105, having top 5 yards. He had 1,486. He only had 6 touchdowns, but still that yards and catches and yards alone shows you that he was being targeted a lot and shows you that teams really were putting their best guy on him. So I really think if C.J. Stroud wasn't having such a magical, nothing we've seen in a while type year, Puka would have been getting this, and I think we all here agree with that. But I think you really got to go Stroud. He turned that 3-13 team into a playoff team that destroyed my Browns and our supposed top-ranked defense in that game, and I give all the props to him. I wouldn't have rather got beaten by anybody else, so I really think this is CJ's award to lose.
Yeah, and I think coming into this season, now going back to Puka, I think the narrative around the Rams was very much so disappointing. It was very down. There was a lot of talk in the media about Matt Stafford not being able to connect with his young players. And obviously Puka coming in and Tutu Atwell coming back to that team, that just absolutely boomed in that offense. They ended up making the playoffs, which, I mean, at the start of the season, if you thought the Rams were going to make the playoffs, you would have been banished to the shadow realm. But I think one more important thing to note off of what RJ's point was with some of the receivers on this Texans team, I think if he doesn't get injured, I think for sure Bijan Robinson is off this list and Tank Dell is on this list. Very easily.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
And I think Tank Dell was a major part of C.J. Stroud's success. We can look to see him, Nico Collins, and Tank Dell being a trio possibly for years to come on this Texans team, and it's going to be absolute cinema down there in the state that is the Lone Star State. But on to Defensive Rookie of the Year. Not as great as years past, but we're looking at the candidates here. We've got edge rusher Will Anderson from the Texans, Jalen Carter of the Philadelphia Eagles, Joey Porter Jr., of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Kobe Turner of the LA Rams, and Devin Witherspoon of the Seahawks. Guys, what are your thoughts?
I mean, mine's going to be really quick. I think this is a weaker Defensive Rookie of the Year race than we've seen in most past. But I really think when he was healthy and on the field, I really think Will Anderson showed a lot of development and showed that in a couple of years he is going to be up there. as one of the best defensive players for this young and bright Houston team. I really think. I mean, yes, he only had 7 sacks, but I mean, he was injured a lot. He missed a couple games towards the end of the year, including our regular season game against them in Houston. But I really think that Will Anderson and the way he led this defense and the way he kind of was along with CJ and D'Amico to change that culture in Houston, which they did a great job with. I think that was incredible. But I really think, I mean, over guys, I mean, Jalen Carter, Joey Porter Jr., Devin Witherspoon, Kobe Turner, they all had great seasons. I really think that they deserved to be as nominees, but I really think Anderson really takes the part if we're going on overall impact.
Yeah, and one important thing to note about Will Anderson is that they did trade up for him in the draft, and everyone was looking a little confused at that move. Obviously, Will Anderson was a surefire lottery projection, but a lot of people looked at the Will Anderson move to trade up to number 3 to draft him right after their franchise quarterback, C.J. Stroud, and everyone looked at it a little confused, but now we are seeing that pay dividends, and I believe Will Anderson does deserve this award too. But looking at a lot of these players, Joey Porter Jr. did have a great season for the Steelers. He was probably, if not their best corner by far this year.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't much competition. I mean,
it was a very depleted cornerback room.
Yeah, him and I guess Pat Pete, you could put it too. But they're just saying
Old
something.
man.
Yeah, but I think really he's getting there. I don't think. I mean, this was signs of development. I think he's going to be maybe a year or two longer. Get him to develop more. He'll start showing out more, and I think he will be good eventually. I really think they got a home run pick there in the second round.
Yeah, and obviously Jalen Carter out of Georgia had a great season for the Eagles. They needed to fill in the hole that they left with Javon Hargrave, and he did that pretty well, I'd say. Kobe Turner did have a great impact on the LA Rams defense that does go very unnoticed because of Aaron Donald. But I think that Kobe Turner did have a great year, and the Seahawks continue their hot streak of drafting great secondary players. I don't know how they do it. They just do it. Cam?
Yeah, I think I think Devin Witherspoon should win it this year.
You're crazy.
I know I'm crazy, but I think everyone, honestly, everybody on here could win this award. Everybody on here could win this award.
I wouldn't even be surprised if it was Jalen Carter.
Yeah, but that's why I think Devin Witherspoon should win this award.
Okay.
Also, to kind of add on to that real quick, I can kind of see why you go that way. Reek Woolen, obviously, for the Seattle Seahawks, has regressed a lot to the point of getting benched.
Yeah.
I think it was that game against Philly. It was in Seattle that he got benched.
He got torched.
So I think really Witherspoon has had that opportunity from that Woolen benching to kind of show himself off, and I think he did play really good, especially towards the beginning of the year. I believe he had that 1 pick six. That's kind of when everybody was on him on the map. He played really good, and that's kind of how he played for the rest of the year. He played really good, so I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if he'd be like a close second, even maybe a third, just because of the amount of similarity between all these nominees.
Yeah. And heading on to the comeback player of the year, this is where we are going to have a little bit of debate. So, the nominees are Old Man Joe Flacco of the Cleveland Browns, Damar Hamlin of the Bills, Baker Mayfield of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that sounds really weird to say, Matt Stafford of the Rams, and Tua from the Dolphins. Cam, you are very emphatic about this. What is your thoughts?
All right, number one, Damar Hamlin should not win this award. He barely even played.
Very agreed. I agree.
I think this race comes down to Joe Flacco and Baker Mayfield. I think if you look at both teams, Baker has been doubted ever since he left he got traded from Cleveland, and then he finally found his home in Tampa Bay, and he's going to get a bag this year. You took him to the first round, or what is it, the wild card? Second round, yeah. Divisional. And Joe Flacco did so much in such a short amount of time. Even though they got kicked out early, you could see the impact.
Yeah.
So, however, I do think Joe Flacco should win this, but I would be very happy if Baker also won it as well.
Yeah. If there's any jinxie listeners out there, Baker Mayfield has very good aim, and I do think that it is a 2-horse race. I think the same as you, Cameron, but I do, as much as I hate to say it, I do think they're going to give it to Hamlin, just because he died on the field. Like you can't write a better script for someone to win Comeback Player of the Year.
Yeah, but like if you die, you should then come back, play the whole season.
No, that's not. It's a huge health risk. But I do think the narrative is in Hamlin's favor. Obviously, we are all very happy that he is still alive and playing on the field, even though he went to pit. But I do think there's a bit of a dark horse here. I think Tua has a good chance at this award. I don't think he's going to win it by any chance, but Tua did have a very, very disastrous season, especially with concussions last year. And I think if you look at a bunch of stats for that, I do think Tua has a bit of a shot at winning this award. I think if there weren't so many strong candidates on this award, I think he'd be a surefire favorite in a different year. But I do think outside of Hamlin, obviously I think Hamlin's going to win it. But outside of the two main ones, Joe Flacco and Baker Mayfield. Now, obviously, Joe Flacco came back and was lighting it up with the Browns. I don't know where that came from. It came out of nowhere. And I know RJ's going to say, it's Stefanski. Joe Flacco, what happened? How do you turn back the clock like that? You're old. But I do think the more deserving player here is Baker. He completely did a 180 on his career. It looked like he was going to be out of the league. And he comes back and leads this Bucs team that needs a quarterback to the playoffs and to the second round. And I really think he deserves it just as much as anybody else on this list, if not more. Kyle Trask was going to be their quarterback. Kyle Trask. Could you imagine how much of a disaster that would have been? Mike Evans, gone. Chris Godwin, gone. Everyone's gone.
Oh, it's 17 season.
No, I don't know about that bad, but you kind of have to try to be that bad. But Baker obviously did a great job with this Bucs team. Was a little depleted from recent years, but as long as everyone was healthy, Baker was balling, and I think he deserves it the most.
So I'm going to respond to obviously everything. No, I think it's a two-man race. I see your point with Tua, and I think it was a surprising point that you brought it up, but I think it makes sense. But I really think everybody's going to play it's Tyreek because of Tyreek card.
Yeah,
I think that's what shuts it down. But so with DeMar, I think he should be in third. I really think the reason for the Comeback Player of the Year award in my eyes is making an impact after having such a major injury. I understand that. I'm glad he's playing at all, let alone even near his physical capabilities. I think it's incredible. It's a great story. But I really think, though, he didn't have enough of that impact. He was only doing really special teams type of stuff for the most part. And I think he recorded maybe a couple tackles.
And that horrible 4th and 2 attempt.
Punt. Oh. Yeah. So, I really don't think he deserves it in the name of comeback player and producing. But my thing with Baker Mayfield, I wouldn't be shocked if he wins it. I would be a little bit happy. I don't have hate towards Baker Mayfield. I'm not one of those guys that says, oh, whatever, we hate him, blah, blah, blah. He brought, that I can remember in me being a Browns fan, one of the happiest moments that I can think of winning a playoff game in Pittsburgh. It was such a great feeling, and he brought that. He led us to that. I have nothing but respect for Baker. My only thing here is I'm going to bring up Bryce Young. You know how everybody's saying it's not Bryce Young's fault, the reason why they are god-awful trash. They do not have an O-line. They really only had, Adam Thielen. That's about it. A receiver that I can think of.
Yeah.
Chark, maybe.
They had Hayden Hurst.
Yeah, but it's nothing incredible is my point. Going to Tampa Bay, they have established receivers, 2 of them, really good ones, and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. You have a tight end that rose a little bit this year, I think, a really underrated one, Cade Otton. I think he, being Mayfield's security blanket, I think really helped him. And then the offensive line was a little bit shaky, but definitely miles upgrade of what Carolina's offensive line was. And obviously, Tampa's defense, I think, wasn't as great as years past, but they still had those key players making those big plays, and they were, I think, a really underrated team defensively in the secondary. So, making that jump, obviously, you're going to play definitely much better than you did in Carolina, and being barely out of the league, which was very true. It was like they had to do like 2 decisions when it came to naming Mayfield the starter. I think he played really good. I really think, though, considering that we haven't really seen what we've seen of a free agent quarterback that has been out of the league, older-ish, leading a team that had the pieces, that had everything in place on both sides of the ball, but needed a veteran leader who still had something left in him. Stefanski did a little. I'm not going to say he did everything because he did not do everything. This is Flacco being prepared and training. I think they said he was throwing the balls with his kids, I think, throwing those in the backyard. That's really much he was doing to keep his arm in shape and ready. And I think he was the reason why Njoku had his huge jump, the reason why he was in the Pro Bowl. And I think really what Flacco did to kind of rejuvenate this team, give this team hope after having so many injuries that I can't even count on 3 sets of hands. I think that overall huge impact of what he did, I think really in leading us to the playoffs and giving us the ability to rest everybody week 18. I mean, it says something. We had the top wild card spot in the AFC. I think if Baltimore wasn't the number 1 seed favorite, I think we really could have been very close to winning a division. So I really think for Flacco, that's my main thing, and also seeing him every game and seeing what he's done to rejuvenate this team when we were at rock bottom. I think that's what should give him the edge. But if Baker wins it, I think he truly does deserve it, and I'd be happy for him.
Yeah, and I mean, I could see either of those quarterbacks winning it. I mean, it's kind of a toss-up. It just kind of depends on what the voters are feeling. But on to a award that I think is up for grabs for anyone here. AP Coach of the Year. Now, there are a lot of strong candidates this year. It's not like last year. It's not like Brian Daboll was the runaway favorite for that. I mean, he did something absolutely special with that Giants team. There are 5 very worthy candidates this year. I mean, one I think doesn't have as good of odds as the other 4. I don't think Shanahan has the greatest odds for this. But nonetheless, we've got Kyle Shanahan as one of the candidates. We've got the Lions' Dan Campbell, the Ravens' John Harbaugh, not Jim Harbaugh. We don't talk about Jim Harbaugh. John Harbaugh. D'Amico Ryans of the Houston Texans, and RJ's favorite, Kevin Stefanski of the Cleveland Browns. Cameron, would you like to start on this one?
As a Bears fan, it was the year of the Lion, and I think Dan Campbell deserves it. I mean, he went from what? I think Dan Campbell deserves it. Okay, okay.
I'd say that's a pretty hot take.
Really?
That's a pretty hot
some
take.
reason behind it.
Okay.
Obviously, he had a great season running his team.
First 2 seasons, 3-13-1, and then what? What was the next season like? What, 7-9? Probably.
Yeah, it was the Booty Lions.
Yeah, the Booty Lions.
They had that good stretch at the end of that second year that gave everybody some hope.
He has rejuvenated the Detroit Lions to what it was. Because
what they are
now.
I was gonna say, what was it?
Well, it used to be booty cheeks.
I was gonna say, are you talking about Marvin Jones?
Kenny Galladay?
Hey,
I think that with the season they had, and yes, Dan Campbell's coaching decisions are very. Oh, I don't know what's the word for it. Very questionable.
Aggressive.
Dan Gamble.
Aggressive.
He's a gambling man, but most of the time in the regular season, the gambling paid off. Yeah, this time it just didn't.
He's got gambler X Factor.
Yeah. This time though, it didn't pay off.
That's the best X Factor in Madden, by the way.
Yeah, this time it didn't pay off, but I don't think that one gamble should hinder him from not winning Coach of the Year.
I see. Are you talking? So you're talking about he deserves it like far and away, and that's what
I don't think he deserves it far and away. I think that Kevin Stefanski is like almost he does a good chance of winning it as well.
Huh. I think there's a name that you're leaving off of that, but you said Campbell deserves it.
I think Campbell deserves it. Yes.
Okay. So here's my 2 cents on this. I'm going to try and make it a little faster because we are getting a little over time than we wanted to be, but Dan Campbell definitely had a great season running the Lions. I think he is very worthy of being on this list. Harbaugh had a great season, but I think a lot of that is due to his coordinators. I think his coordinators had a very good season, and that is a big reason for their success.
And Lamar as well.
Well, obviously Lamar, yeah. But I think realistically, obviously the two coaches, obviously you're going to give the 2 1 seeds. You're going to give, or no, the Lions weren't the 1 seed.
The Lions
the 2 1 seeds, the Shanahan. Yeah. Okay. The 2 seed should have been the 1 seed Lions. But I think the two that were a little more dark horsey are the 2 most deserving candidates. But I think these are the 2 most favored ones, right?
Correct.
That would be Stefanski and D'Amico Ryans. Obviously, I would not be mad at Stefanski winning this award. I think he completely deserves it. And, I mean, working around all those injuries, 5 starting quarterbacks this year, I mean, it is honestly remarkable how they even made it that far, especially considering that most of their big players got injured. Chubb, Watson, and, I mean, RJ can probably name off the list when he gets onto his, but I do think one candidate stands out to me a lot more than, I wouldn't say a lot more than the others, just a little more than Stefanski. I think Ryans deserves it a lot more because complete culture shift in Houston. I do think you're right about Campbell switching the culture in Detroit. I think that was last year. I think the culture shifted last year. They went from being absolute dog to going up and getting that culture back, and I just think this was a continuation of last year. D'Amico Ryans has pretty much made Houston a football city again. This team is back. All of these rookies, it takes a lot to lead a load of rookies and a load of new players into the second round of the playoffs, especially with a rookie quarterback. And I mean, we can all say anything we want about C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud is an amazing quarterback. He's nothing without Ryans. I think Ryans is the mastermind behind all of it. And I mean, obviously the 2 talents, I think Stroud was absolutely incredible this year, and Will Anderson. And you have to look at the fact that the 2 front runners for the 2 Rookie of the Years, you got to look at the coach for that. I think when you get it on both sides of the ball, especially you have to look at the head coach. So I think Ryans deserves it.
I think that is a really great point. I will handle that in a second, but I'm going to start with the Campbell opinions. I really think what Detroit has done and what they are doing is really special, and I think that city deserves it. Being a Cleveland sports fan, Detroit's kind of been right with us. So, I mean, it's good to see them win. I think I'm happy where they're at. I like Dan Campbell. The way he's aggressive is the reason they're there in the first place. Anybody can agree with that. It just didn't come out on top this time. It was unfortunate for him, but I really think this has kind of been in the mix since late last year. They had that, I believe, 6 or 7 game winning streak to end the year, and that's when everybody was kind of putting Detroit on the map, saying this could be something special. So I think it was a little bit expected. Nothing to this remark, but I think just a tiny bit expected. But between the top 2 of Kevin Stefanski and D'Amico Ryans, I really think with D'Amico Ryans, he is the main reason of that culture shift. I will agree with you. I give you that point. I wouldn't say Stroud is nothing without Ryans.
Oh no, that's not what I meant. I was just going on my tangent. Obviously, C.J. Stroud could run in pretty much any system, but I think Ryan's system is tailored to him.
I think that's the reason why they picked him, and I really think they were glad that he fell because I think if they were at 1, they still would have took Stroud. I really think that what he has done, Will Anderson, what he's doing right now, developing really well. That's what D'Amico's strong suit is. So him developing very well is very nice for him. Shows that that's what he's known for that defense and defensively progressing his players. But with C.J. Stroud, even Tank Dell, I think to even mention that as well. The way he's been playing before he got hurt was incredible. Him and Stroud were like that 1-2 combo that was nuts. But I really think I have more of a personal insight of my reason for Kevin Stefanski, and that being we lost, I'm going to just name off a decent amount of them. Injury at all. Denzel Ward, we had Thornhill out. We had, I believe Newsom was out at least a game or 2. Chubb, Watson, O-line, Wills, Conklin, Batonio for at least a game. I think Teller was the one that might have not had anything. But most of our O-line was injured. But what that shows me, though, is depth. They've been building this team for a couple of years. And getting newer coaches, getting that Jim Schwartz guy, you could tell that defense switched from last to first real quick because of the coaching job. And really, Joe Flacco as well, building a system around him so he can succeed. I'm not saying he deserves all that credit, but he gets at least some of that credit for building that system around him, giving Flacco the best opportunities to succeed. I really think was a great thing as well. I think it's an unprecedented situation. I think they both are, really, for both coaches. But I really think if you're going on overall impact and ability to play and kind of the fearfulness of that defense, I really think is why Stefanski should win this. But I think DeMeco Ryans winning it, I'd be really happy for him, and I'm really excited to see what Houston's going to do in the next coming years.
Yeah, I mean, I think both of these head coaches took the NFL by storm this year. They said, this is my year. I'm going to take it. I'm making this league my own. And, I mean, they did a great job at it, and honestly, kudos to every coach on this list. They've all done a great job with their respective teams. Obviously, Kyle Shanahan had the Avengers, but he's been a great coach so far for the Niners. They would not be where they are without him or either of the coordinators there. Dan Campbell with two of the best coordinators in the league. That is a stacked coaching roster. And I believe Aaron Glenn and I believe his name it's Ben Johnson, isn't it?
Yep.
I believe both of them are staying.
Ben Johnson is confirmed. Yeah, I mean, there's no other head coachings left. We will get into that next week. This is going to be a really packed episode, obviously. We knew this coming in, so we're saving that for next week. But Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn both staying, I think, is very huge and shows that they have that loyalty in Detroit to this coaching staff and to this fan base, to this city. I really think this Detroit team, I wouldn't be shocked if they do exactly everything again next year.
Yeah, and I mean, you've heard Amon-Ra and Jared Goff in the media saying they want to run it back, and next year is the year that they're going to spin back because they have unfinished business in the playoffs. Now, on to the last, and I think the weirdest award. I did not know there was an Assistant Coach of the Year award.
I didn't really notice it much either. I think it's really kind of overshadowed by every other award, but I think it's an award that kind of shows the behind-the-scenes stuff that really doesn't get talked about as much. I mean, this year it kind of did a little bit more than I was shockingly expected, but, I mean, looking at everybody at this list, you can tell why.
Yeah, and these 5 candidates is Ben Johnson, the Lions OC, Mike McDonald, and Todd Monken are both the Ravens coordinators, like I mentioned earlier. Jim Schwartz, the Browns defensive coordinator, and Bobby Slowick, the Houston Texans offensive coordinator. Now, before we get into, I think this is probably going to be the quickest one of the awards, I think there was a bit of a snub. I think new Carolina Panthers head coach and former Tampa Bay Buccaneers OC, Dave Canales, should be on this list because Baker and that offense are nothing without Canales. He was the mastermind behind that offense. And I believe he is not getting the credit that he deserves. Obviously, he got the head coaching position for the Panthers. He is getting thrown into the fire with that team, and I feel so bad for him. He deserves much better. But I don't think the Bucs go nearly as far as they do without him.
I think I agree with that as well, and something I will kind of bounce back with you at is who would you replace him on the list then?
Who was that?
Who would you replace out of the candidates of Ben Johnson, Mike McDonald, Todd Monken, Jim Schwartz, and Bobby Slowick? Who would you replace?
That's tough.
It is very tough.
That is really tough.
You could have arguments all day, I think, with a couple of these candidates.
I think you could. I think there's 3 untouchables for me. I think Mike McDonald, Ben Johnson, and Bobby Slowick are all cemented in there for me just because of all the work that they did. The Ravens had by far the best defense in the NFL. The Lions had an absolutely electric offense, and I think they're nothing without Ben Johnson. Obviously, they have the talent. I think Ben Johnson's scheming in that offense is what gets them far. And Bobby Slowick with all those rookies, I think that he did an excellent job getting everyone on the same page early so they could start out strong. All of these candidates are deserving, man. I mean, it's between Monken and Schwartz are the two that would probably have me put Canales in over them. I think Jim Schwartz did too good of a job with that defense. I think I'd take Monken off.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. It's very difficult. All these candidates are very deserving, and I think it was obviously known with most of these candidates, besides Schwartz, shockingly, being interviewed for coaching opportunities and everything, head coaching opportunities. It's a really tough award. I really think what Jim Schwartz has done with Cleveland's defense with having a lot of injuries, them and Baltimore are neck and neck. So him and McDonald being kind of that 1 and 2 for defenses, I think is definitely deserving. They were back and forth all year, Cleveland and Baltimore, defensively. Slowick with Houston, I really think he deserves to be on there as well. What he did offensively with CJ, and I think even a little bit of a resurgence of Devin Singletary. I think something not talked about as well that needs to be brought up that as well. I can't really replace anybody. I think either way it's going to be controversial by a long shot no matter what. I think really, God, I don't even think I can answer my own question.
I think we've got one more player we forgot on that Texans offense that they brought back. An absolutely explosive tight end, Brevin Jordan. Talk about a comeback for him. He was absolutely crucial to that Texans offense. And, I mean, when Dalton Schultz wasn't healthy, he was out for a good 3-4 games.
Yeah.
I had him on my fantasy team. I was crying. But when Dalton Schultz was getting double teamed in the center and when they were running 2 tight end sets, Brevin Jordan, and, I mean, you saw it in the Browns playoff game. He had, a 70-yard touchdown on you guys?
Yep.
Speed kills, man.
It is.
Especially at the tight end position.
A very unexpected one. Obviously, we were thinking Schultz, but then his resurgence as well, I think, is another reason you can put Slovic in here. But to win the award, I mean, I'll make it quick. I think it's either, for me, really has to be between either Jim Schwartz of the Cleveland Browns and Mike McDonald of the Baltimore Ravens. It's 1 and 2. I think you could flip either or. I don't really think it. I think they're both deserving.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put bias aside, but I really think with the injuries, depth really kind of shows coaching. So I really think Schwartz is. But if McDonald wins it or even any of these candidates, they deserve it.
I'm going to make it fast. I think it should be Bobby Slowick.
I mean, any of these candidates.
Yeah, anyone can win.
I think it is a 3-horse race for me. I think it is between McDonald, Slowick, and Ben Johnson. I think the most deserving is Mike McDonald. But, I mean, regarding how far the Lions went, how potent their offense was, I think they might give it to Ben Johnson. But, I mean, any of those candidates deserve it. But that is it for us for the award segment. We are heading into a bit of a preview for the Super Bowl. And Camp's shaking his head, and we're all shaking our heads because we don't care about this year's Super Bowl. And I'm sure nobody does.
This is gonna. I'm gonna say this right now. This is gonna be the least watched Super Bowl of all time. No one wants to see Anna Frey and Taylor Swift. No one wants to see that bowl.
Yeah, I mean, the media has been flooded with a lot of Taylor Swift content, and I mean, this year there was a lot going on for the Chiefs. Mostly not much on the field, but
Off the field.
I have to get at least one pun in. The Chiefs front office said, we are never, ever, ever getting back together, Frank Clark. Get out of here. I had to do that.
I mean, you could say, Travis Kelce has bad blood in him right now.
All right, we're done with this. I think one was enough.
No, let's not do any more, please.
Yeah, I think one was enough. But I mean, not many off-season transactions for the Chiefs. Matt Nagy comes in as their OC, and I know Cameron has a lot of experience with Matt Nagy. How'd you feel about that hire when you heard about it?
I mean, good for him. He has a job. He doesn't deserve to have a
Surprisingly.
job. Yeah, he doesn't deserve to have a job, but I mean, he's at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of easy to be a good coordinator when you have Patrick Mahomes on your offense. I think there's something we really need to look at with that Matt Nagy hire. Was it the coordinator? Because you're seeing it with Bieniemy in Washington. He's no longer there anymore. That's a little unfair. I think they only gave him a year. But I mean, Dan Quinn had his preference. He's the head coach. He kind of makes the decisions for his coordinators. But I think we're finally seeing that Patrick Mahomes is the system. It's what Harden thinks.
It really helps when you're a coordinator and you have one of the best quarterbacks this century has ever seen.
Yeah, and I mean, we just saw it with Nagy. I mean, obviously Bieniemy was leading Patrick Mahomes to success every year, but now it kind of looks like Patrick Mahomes is his own offensive coordinator. You see him making a lot of audibles out there, and you see him running that offense pretty much to perfection. I mean, what else do you expect from Patrick Mahomes? He's the best player in the NFL. If he's on, he's the best player in the NFL.
I think absolutely. I think that's universally agreed upon by most NFL fans. Something I'm going to say about Nagy real quick. Before he took that Bears OC job, he was one of the assistant coordinators offensively for that Kansas City team when Mahomes' first couple of years. He was on that staff. So I think that's something very interesting to note. I think that's why they went back to Nagy as OC, someone Reed was familiar with and could trust. So I think that for them, that was a great hire in that situation. Also, Steve Spagnuolo, I'm going to put this out real quick. This Kansas City defense is aggressive and very underrated because of Spagnuolo. I think that's something that's not talked about as much in the mainstream media. I think he deserves a bunch of credit for what he does, and especially I think kind of their guy that really kind of stood out to me was Drew Tranquill, the linebacker. I think he has been electric for them. I think in that system he flourishes because of Spagnuolo. So I really think, putting that out there, I really think this Kansas City team, I think, was more better defensively than offense because of their receivers. I think obviously that's very agreed upon that their wide receivers very, very, very down year. Obviously, yes, they drafted Rashee Rice, 55th of the second round.
Huge pick.
Absolutely. This past year out of SMU. I think that really, really helped Kansas City be who they are right now because of Rashee Rice's ability and his speed. I think him catching the ball kind of, I would say one of Mahomes' top two. I mean, just based off receivers, Kelsey, I'm counting him as a tight end here. But one of their top two receivers and him having that growth, working with Mahomes, I mean, you can't really ask much else if you're a rookie receiver. So I think him playing great really helped Kansas City be the team they are.
Yeah, and one thing me and RJ can agree on, having the bad man is gone. The bad man is gone. Daniel Sorensen is no longer on the Chiefs defense. He cheated the Browns out of a conference championship appearance. And Daniel Sorensen always tried to, let's just say, hit a lot of our players in bad places. Yeah, bye-bye, buddy. Have fun working at Chick-fil-A. Nobody likes you. Your parents don't like you. Your family doesn't love you. Go home, get a job. Better get working on that application. Oh my God. Daniel Sorensen, I am looking for you on LinkedIn. But going on to the Chiefs season, obviously they brought in someone new on defense. There's a new face in Drew Tranquill, and I think he was absolutely humongous for this defense.
Very true. Glad you did bring that up again. I think that's something that's very underrated. But I think this is a more personally a you question. With Orlando Brown going to Cincinnati, leaving Kansas City with that offensive line, I think he downplayed a little bit for you guys. I'd say that it would be an understatement from an AFC opposing AFC North point of view. But I really think for this Kansas City team and that O-line, some of that showed this year as we're going to go on and talk about. I think it's something that we really need to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and I mean, in terms of overall record and just obvious quality of play, I really think that this was just a complete, all in all, it was a down year for the Chiefs. I mean, regular season-wise, they just weren't the Chiefs that they normally are. And I think I have never, ever, ever laughed as hard as I did when they lost to the Raiders. And Aiden O'Connell throwing for 0 yards in the last 3 quarters, and they lost to the Raiders.
Day game.
Thank you, ex-Boilermaker Aiden O'Connell. And Cameron is over there saluting him from a distance. Aiden O'Connell, thank you. Thank you for that. That made me so happy.
Yep, made Christmas much better.
Merry damn Christmas. You have been blessed. At that point in the season, you really look at the Chiefs and you're like, wow, they're 9-6. It's a little weird to see a team that's been dominant for so long in this. I wouldn't even say so long. That's been dominant for the last 6-7 years in this league. Just looking like they're on a downward spiral. And I mean, there's talk of we all fell victim to the Patriots dynasty, and now we have the Chiefs. And there's no assumptions needed. This is the next dynasty. This is this is the team to beat. And a lot of analysts are looking at Patrick Mahomes and like, oh, they're comparing him to Michael Jordan. Weird. That's a weird comparison. Tom Brady is Michael Jordan.
He's like LeBron James.
That's what I was just about to say. Patrick Mahomes is on the chase. And when we look at this season for Patrick Mahomes, this really shows the grit that Patrick Mahomes had. And, I mean, it's a tough season, and if you can grind out seasons like this and get the gritty wins, that shows all you need to know about a player.
Absolutely, and I think a game that I'm going to mention before that Christmas game was a couple weeks before, should have been exactly near a month before, at Denver, 24-9. And I'm going to praise Kansas City here for this. After that game, they kicked it back into gear. Obviously, a tough loss after 2 weeks later to Philadelphia. Obviously, then they were rolling, looking nice. So, I mean, that's a quality loss. But I think how they really carried themselves after against Miami, which a high electric offense, wild, and managed to get that was the Germany game, yeah. The 21-14 win in Germany, I think, was impressive for them and what they needed. They had a little bit of collapse in December. Obviously, losing to Green Bay, Buffalo, winning against the Patriots, which Patriots right now, that's obvious. And then the tough loss. So December was by far their rough month. But I think in January, even, what was it? Yeah, New Year's Eve against the Bengals when they got that win. And going forward for the rest of the year is when they finally kicked it in the playoff mode. I really think that's where you can tell. That's how they know they got to kick it into gear and win. Obviously won that division, which I think was very close, even down to I would really say even week 17.
I do have a little bit of an interjection there. That Bengals loss, or the win against the Bengals at the very end of the season, fraudulent. If you watched that game, Isaiah Pacheco was the man in that game. He absolutely shredded the Bengals defense. And I mean, Jake Browning made it competitive with Patrick Mahomes. Yep. Jake Browning.
That's without Burrow. Yep, that's something.
And the next game after that, they beat the Easton Stick Chargers 13-12.
Well, that's when Gabbert was in. Gabbert was in.
That was Gabbert?
Yeah.
Easton Stick, Blaine Gabbert, same guy. You can't even tell the difference anymore.
I'll tell you the leaders for that game. Passing was Gabbert with 154. Running was, you should know this guy, Samaje Perine, 76.
Oh, no, I miss him.
And leading receiver was Mecole Hardman Jr. coming back to Kansas City with 77 yards. But I really think Kansas City kicked in the playoff mode, and then obviously you could tell crushing Miami in the wild card with those frigid temperatures. I don't really think shocked too many people. Miami was that warm weather team. We all kind of predicted it. We were holding hope, but that wasn't going to happen. But the divisional round,
Bills' loss was a fraud.
Yeah, in Buffalo, that was a back and forth game. One of the greatest playoff games
Tyler Bass, you're chopped,
I've ever
buddy.
seen.
Your days are numbered.
Impersonating his inner Scott Norwood to a T, which is depressing for Bills fans.
Blair Walsh.
Browns and Bills fans are very close, so that kind of hurt me even more.
I'm looking at you there, Cameron. I'm looking at you.
I mean,
I missed it.
Oh, he missed it. And then conference championship against Baltimore. I think a game that was very heated for Baltimore emotionally. We went over that. But I really think that was a great win, huge win in Baltimore. Lamar playing amazing out of his mind. Zay Flowers, having those guys there. That defense playing really good. But their defense was the main story of that game. I really think holding Baltimore to no points in the second half, huge. That's what won them the game.
I think one really interesting thing to note about the end of this season. I mean, I know you guys have heard his name a lot in the media, and I know you're sick and tired of hearing this man's name, but Travis Kelce had his first sub-1,000-yard receiving season, and we're looking at it like he might regress a little bit. Is this the end of the Patrick Mahomes-Travis Kelce duo? No, it's not, sadly. But going into the tail end of that season, it looked like Kelce was having a drop-off. Like mid-season Kelce, obviously he's going to do a bunch of stuff, but we are now talking about football Travis Kelce. Nothing outside of football. We're talking about on-field playing football Travis Kelce, the way it should be talked about. Travis Kelce is their leading receiver in 2 of their 3 playoff games. And I think it's pretty safe to say with all the media coverage around him, he is handling it very well. And I mean, over the last 2 games, he's averaging 100 yards a game. And I think he's back. And I mean, you saw it in that Super Bowl preview that he loves the hate. He embraces it. And I mean, looking at all the media coverage surrounding him, everyone is just like preying on this man's downfall right now. And
he created the fade. Supposedly,
he did not create. You saw what he said.
No.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Saying that on the first day of Black History Month is insane. They did that. They said they wanted the Travis Kelce cut, and it's like, bro, it's a fade. It's a taper fade. Like, bro. But imagine if Ninja got a low taper fade.
Oh my God.
Imagine if Ninja got a low taper fade.
No, but I think really Kansas City, I think to kind of wrap Kansas City's part up, I think really what they're defensively, what they're doing, Mahomes obviously being Mahomes, just clutching up in those situations, giving that Brady-esque of our next generation, that Brady-esque feel. I really think.
I want to die.
Yeah, that too. I really think it was a very great season for Kansas City, even with their receiver struggles, which I give them props even more because of that. And I'm interested to see what they'll do against our next talked about team, San Francisco.
Yep.
Yeah, do you want to know why I want to die? All this Brock Purdy slander. Listen. I understand why there's slander, but you still have to give him credit.
All right. I will. This is my time to talk now. I'm getting into this.
It's my turn.
This rant goes out to one Mr. Anthony Ritchie. I'm sorry I've been slandering your quarterback all year. I thought he was a bum. He is not. He is a very good quarterback. And the entire league gave up on this man. Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick in the draft. Nobody thought this dude was going to be anything. We all thought, practice squad. He's going to bounce around on the practice squads, maybe get a game here and there. That was not the case. He beats out Trey Lance. I believe it was last year he beat him out, right?
Beat out Trey Lance, goes undefeated regular season.
Number 3 overall pick, Trey Lance, by the way. He's a fraud.
Don't know that.
But Brock Purdy stepping into that role, embracing the challenge of being a starting quarterback in the NFL, and man, is he taking that chance and ran with it.
Yeah, I mean,
he was an MVP candidate this year.
If you look at it, it's almost like the Brady season, because second year Brady, he wins the championship, first year starting. It could be the second coming, but it's not. It's not the second coming. It's just.
I was about to say, hold up, let's not go too.
But you know the media is going to be like, this is exactly what Tom Brady did.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's a weird situation that he went into.
Yeah.
I mean,
It also really helps when you have Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey. You have the Avengers, including on defense. You have the Avengers.
I will say this. I originally did think that was the common take, that he has the Avengers around him. He's got all the pieces. But I think along with this season and analyzing football along this season, I think I've matured in the way I look at quarterbacks like that. Although he may be a system quarterback, I believe he is a system quarterback. That Niners system is set up for any quarterback to succeed. He's still got to make the throws.
And he makes the throws.
He makes the throws. He makes difficult throws. And, I mean, he's a gambler. He takes risks. And, I mean, not a lot of game managers take a lot of risks. There are a lot of checkdowns. There's a lot of 5-yard slants. You've got 3-yard out routes. And, I mean, he makes the reads. He makes the throws. And you got to give him props.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw it with Sam Darnold. I mean, Sam Darnold could do it. But, I mean, Sam Darnold was a lottery pick.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Wow.
What happened?
Huh?
Okay.
The NFL.
Real quick, I'm breaking as of right now, 8:48 p.m. Eastern Time. As of what it's looking like, Antonio Gates will not be a first ballot Hall of Famer this year.
That is absolute malarkey.
That is terrible.
Just to bring that in real quick, we'll go over that I think more next week, but that's just too shocking not to leave out. So
Yeah.
putting that out.
Did they say anything about Devin Hester?
Not yet. We'll get to that next week. That was just a major shocker that had to be brought up.
That will be a topic for next week. But, I mean, looking at Brock Purdy and that Niners system, I mean, it's definitely a sight to see. And, I mean, you got to give it to the owners and you got to give it to the GM for making these moves to make this team so good, to be able to surround a pick number 262 quarterback with that system and lead them to multiple back-to-back NFC championship appearances and now a Super Bowl. And, I mean, I don't think Brock Purdy gets nearly enough credit as he deserves for leading this team. Cameron, why are you spazzing over there?
It's next week, but he made it.
Who made it?
My boy,
Hester?
Devin Hester, McMichaels, and Julius Peppers have made the Hall of Fame. My life is complete. The greatest man to ever return a football.
Yeah, JP definitely deserves it. I mean, we will talk a lot more about the Hall of Fame ballots and the end of this Super Bowl game next week. Obviously, you guys are being forced to tune in. Either you guys don't have a choice. You will be listening to the next episode.
Yes.
But let's go through this Niners season real quick. So I will send it over to you, RJ.
Yeah, I want to bring this up since the Purdy talk was happening. I think really he's blossomed a lot, and he has the talent around him, yes. But like you said, Connor, I think to put the note that you need to make the throws, you need to make the reads, you need to read defense is still the same. So I think he deserves the credit he's being deserved to a T. But for the offseason for the San Francisco 49ers, I will go in just a little bit on their offseason. The major splash, signing former Eagles defensive tackle Javon Hargrave to a 4-year, $84 million contract.
Massive.
I think it was huge.
That was massive.
Because people were thinking, especially me, that he was going to be a Brown. It was almost a lock. I'm kind of glad we didn't get him, but because I didn't want to pay him that much money. So I mean, San Francisco getting out there, proving even more on the defensive side, getting Hargrave, I think is very huge for them. That was their main kind of big key signing, their splash, as I call it. They signed Sam Darnold 1 year to back up Purdy. Him playing only, I believe, in week
18?
Yeah.
Yep.
That I can remember. And then signing Tayshaun Gibson Sr. to a 1-year deal up to $2.9 million, I think was really good for them. Last year, him stepping into that role last year, doing really good. And then stepping in this year, doing the same, I think was a great short money deal. Very good for San Francisco, that signing. I think very underrated. They didn't have a first or second round pick. The only their highest guy that do you want to mention him?
What?
You want to mention their draft pick?
Oh, yes. Former Penn State safety Jair Brown. I don't even know if he got much playtime this year.
I mean, they're stacked.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely
that's more of a developmental pick.
Yeah,
I really think.
I think that one of the main players on this Niners absolute God squad defense that needs to be talked about a lot more. This is a bit of a revenge game for him. Former Chiefs corner Charvarius Ward. And I mean, he has been absolutely lights out this year. I'm honestly surprised he didn't get a D-point nod. He has been absolute shutdown this year. And I mean, you don't see many picks from him because they don't throw to him. They're afraid of him.
That's very true. I'm glad you brought that up. It's very true. His impact has been insane, and even in Super Bowl media opening, he was actually asked a question about which was better, and I think he loves it in San Francisco more than Kansas City, shockingly to some. But he does really love San Francisco and their culture, which I think kind of goes to show what Shanahan and Lynch have been building in in San Francisco. I think it's crazy. The players love it, and I think they're excited to be contending and having all the talent they have. But going to their beginning of the season, their big win, obviously Week 1 at Pittsburgh demolished them. Very good Week 1 for me watching that. Close win against L.A. at L.A. Obviously, it's those NFC West divisional games. It's going to happen. Be very close. Purdy, 206 passing yards. McCaffrey 116 in that win. Easily beating Arizona, New York, and then Week 5 at home against Dallas. That was a primetime game. Absolutely destroying them 42-10. It was a huge win for San Francisco. Undefeated, 5-0, looking great. They were obviously the top team. I think even then, people were saying, wow, who's going to stop the San Francisco team? Then a little bit of a fall started to happen. And this game, their next game, Week 6, in Cleveland, a game I remember very well. Very, very good game for me. Weather, very rainy, downpouring in Cleveland. McCaffrey getting hurt. Debo early, and then McCaffrey, I think, to end the first half. I think it was that oblique that got kind of re-aggravated. And then Ayuk was their leading receiver with 76. He was coming off of 2 amazing games against Arizona and Pittsburgh. Didn't do too much with 76, but that really showed you with the elements and the injuries. Purdy struggled, and I think it showed. Cleveland got the win, very tough 2-point win off a Moody missed field goal to win it. Then they go into Minnesota. At Minnesota, primetime, I believe that was Monday Night Football. Minnesota played really good. That was the Kirk Cousins, Jordan Addison connection. That really showed. Very tough loss for San Francisco. Lose 2 straight. Very tough for them. And then at home against Cincinnati, Conor, I'll let you take that one over, but it was a very tough loss for San Francisco.
Yeah, and I mean, when you look back at this game for the Niners, I think that this was the moment. This was the moment where they were like, all right, what is going on right now? We need to figure something out. And again, this was back when Joe Burrow was healthy. And I think the thing that really helped the Niners here was the fact that they were coming off of a 3-game losing streak to Cleveland, Minnesota, and then in Cincinnati, they lost at home to Cincinnati, which you usually think of the Niners field to be a bit of a fortress. They usually defend their home field very well. At least in recent years, they have defended, I believe it's still Levi's Stadium, right?
Yeah.
It's still Levi's?
Yep, it is, yep.
Okay. They defend Levi's Stadium very well. But I think something that was very crucial for this Niners team was after that Bengals loss, they go into a bye. And I think that bye week is the turning point for their season. I think if the bye week was after Jacksonville, we might be looking at a different Super Bowl matchup. Because I don't know. Looking at this Niners team looked so defeated. I mean, they lost to the nothing short of bad Vikings. They were bad at this point. This was before they'd started to turn it on. This was when Cleveland was absolutely shutting down teams. This was back when they were at least mostly healthy. As the season went on, they started to progressively lose more guys. Again, this was when Watson was healthy. Or wait, no, that was P.J. Walker.
Yep.
Oh,
P.J. Walker, then Chubb got injured.
That was the second.
No, Chubb got injured week 2, didn't he?
Yep, that was the P.J. Walker, his second game, I believe.
Fun fact.
No, that might have been his first game.
Fun fact, P.J. Walker did not throw a touchdown this year, and he won 2 games.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just goes to show.
That's an interesting...
He made the throws when it needed to be made.
That's
and then
weird.
Hunt ran it in the win.
Yeah, I mean, 1917 is not a score you see very often. But the Niners put up 17 points in 3 straight games, and they get beaten 3 straight games. Joe Burrow absolutely tore this Niners defense apart, and going from 5-0 to 5-3 is not something you want to see, especially from this caliber of a team. And without that bye week, I believe they go into Jacksonville and lose that game. But obviously, looking back at it, they did not go straight into Jacksonville. They have a week at home to recuperate, and I believe this is where the scheme started to change. Brock Purdy was airing it out before, and as you see, McCaffrey's rushing yards start to progressively go up after this, and I think this is when the offensive game plan changed. They go into Jacksonville with a commanding win, 34-3. And that was the downfall of the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's when that's around when Trevor Lawrence got hurt. And looking at it, Christian McCaffrey is leading the league, or not leading the league, leading the team in rushing yards every single week after this, except for his 2 rest weeks. And I think this offense definitely became a lot more two-dimensional after this. I think it was a lot more pass-heavy. I think they were using Christian McCaffrey and his wheel routes a lot more. But I think they got the ground game going after this. I think they realized they have the O-linemen and they have the star power to get them through the holes in the offensive line and get down the field.
Absolutely. I really think, though, for San Francisco, I think after that Cincy game, having that huge game at Jacksonville when they were at their peak of really kind of showing who they were as a team, just dismantling them, that's when you're like, okay, this San Francisco team's getting healthy. They're getting back. Huge win against Tampa. And the game at Seattle, great win. Purdy doing good. McCaffrey over 100 yards. And then the game on my birthday, week 13, December 3rd, at Philadelphia. Brock Purdy went insane. I mean, there's not really another way to put it.
Yeah.
I think San Francisco demolished Philly. I mean, they shut them down. It was wild. It was crazy because everybody's thinking it was going to be like a one-possession game. It was a great win. Now it's really their key second-half win. And then going into Seattle, or no, at home against Seattle. They were already in Seattle a couple weeks prior. Getting the home win against them. At Arizona, really great win, obviously high scoring for them. And then they obviously had that downfall game on Christmas night that really locked up Lamar's MVP in my eyes was that game against Baltimore. Really, really tough loss. I mean, Baltimore's a great team. I mean, that's going to happen. I mean, you can't really complain too much. A tough home loss. And then beating the Gabe's Commanders, not shocking to much of anybody. Yeah,
Shocker there.
And then week 18 was that bench game. That's when Darnold came in that one game. Him, Mitchell, and then Conley. Those were the quarterback, running back, receiver leaders. So that's kind of the way they ended out their year, just making sure McCaffrey was healthy and ready. The divisional against Green Bay at home was the game I thought they were going to lose. And I think it would have been a nuts collapse because
I'm not going to lie. I think the Packers deserve to win that game.
Yeah. And I think it was just that mistake by Jordan Love.
It's the
very tough.
If any of you listeners out there remember the Paul Allen call from the Brett Favre throw to take I believe the Vikings to the Super Bowl, was it?
But the Saints.
It was against the Saints.
Yep.
It was a tie game. This is a different scenario. It was a tie game at that point, right?
Yeah.
It was the exact same scenario, and running out to the right, throws it across his body to absolutely nobody, and it gets picked in double coverage. I mean, it was kind of a storybook ending to that game. And if you remember the call, this isn't Detroit, man, it's the Super Bowl. And I mean, if you're Jordan Love, you look back on that season as a whole as a very huge success. But you look back at that game and think, man, we could have won that. And I mean, if you're LaFleur, you have to be proud of your guys for the season that they had. A very depleted receiver core, and I can't even name you their tight end. Can anyone?
Luke Musgrave.
It was Luke Musgrave. That's who it was. I was thinking Robert Tonyan, but I know he is a Bear.
Yep.
Yeah, how'd that happen? And how is he working at a Chinese buffet now?
Probably, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. But if you're the Packers, you look back at that game and think, man, we could have won that. But if you're a Niners fan, you look back at that game and think, phew, we got away with murder. I mean,
I was going to say more about that for the Lions game. Because the Lions game, they really got away with it.
I think the Lions just choked.
You think so?
We're going to get into that one next.
I think that's the main game.
Yeah, at home against Detroit, conference championship. They were down, 17 at half?
Yeah.
24-14.
What was it?
24-7. No, 24-7
24-7 at half.
So,
and
yeah.
pretty much for the entire season, he has been the unsung hero for this team and obviously made the game-changing, the game direction-changing play for the Niners, Brandon Ayuk.
Thanking Cam Sutton.
Yeah, thank you, Cam.
Bobble.
Thank you, Cam Sutton. Thank you for making my Big Mac soon, and you will be unemployed. I have a lot of hatred towards him because he's a former Steeler.
It's true.
Beep, boop, beep.
Oh, my God. But I really think San Francisco, though, proved they belonged because they came back in like a nuts amount of time. It was like, 3-minute switch of
within
14 points.
Within 3 minutes,
It
they were
was a
down
3-point
by
game.
3.
Yeah, it was a 3-point game, 2 touchdowns. It was incredible, forcing that fumble on Goff and then that huge play to Ayuk. And then I think by that point, everybody kind of knew, okay, San Francisco, I think, is going to come away with it. Dan Campbell's gamble did not work. San Francisco then found a way to win it at the end, which leads us to this weekend's Super Bowl. We're going to end it off on some predictions. Talking about both of these teams,
I've got a bit of a question to ask you guys.
All right, let's hear it.
For both teams, offensive and defensive X factors. Who do you think will be the standout player that will help the team, if not win, make it close?
All right, for the Niners, offense is going to be Brock Purdy, and then for the defense, it's going to be Nick Bosa.
Okay, that's
needed, but okay.
Yeah, I think that's a little more along the basic route, but I mean, those are pretty much the two most important players on both sides.
Yeah, we all know who the Chiefs' offensive X factor is going to be. I think it's yeah. And then for defense, I just say the linebacker core in general.
Yeah,
they just have to get together.
I think someone for the Chiefs on offense, I think it's a bit of a mixed bag. I think that the two guys that I think could have the most impact and will be the game changers for the team, Noah Gray. I think they will be having a lot of defensive attention on Travis Kelce, and those linebackers are very good in coverage. Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw, I will get into them in a second, but I think either Noah Gray or Isaiah Pacheco will be the X factors for this team. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is going to do his thing. Kelsey's going to do his thing. And the receiving core is a bit iffy, but I think if you want to get this game going for the Chiefs on offense, it goes through Pacheco. Now, on defense for the Chiefs, I think outside of L'Jarius Sneed, I think it's just the rest of the secondary. This Niners offense is potent, and they come at you fast. And, I mean, for Trent McDuffie and all of the other players in the secondary, I kid you not, I could not name another one right now. Drew Tranquil as a safety, isn't he?
Linebacker.
Linebacker, okay. I thought he was a strong safety. But anyways, I think that rest of that secondary will be the X factor for the Chiefs. Obviously, L'Jarius Sneed is going to do his thing, but I think McDuffie is definitely a player to watch on that defense. Now, for the Niners, I've got a bit of an interesting take for, and I wouldn't say an interesting take for defense, but for the offense, I think it all lies on Mr. Brandon Ayuk. I think, obviously, Debo is going to be getting a lot of defensive attention, but I think the most important player, not just in the receiving game, I think George Kittle is the X factor in this game. He's coming back with a vengeance. He's coming off of a Super Bowl loss the last time he was here to the Chiefs. And, I mean, it's payback time for him. Rent's due. And, obviously, George Kittle is massive in their pass attack, but I think getting the holes for Christian McCaffrey, I think if they're going to be doing a lot of what they've been doing this playoffs, they will be running a lot of outside handoffs. And they do a lot of swing plays where they run him out and they toss it to him. George Kittle will be massive in that. He will be laying out blocks on the outside, and I think that will be the game changer for the Niners offense. Now on to the defense. Obviously, this Niners defense is loaded. Everyone knows that. But I think the one player that will be the X factor is Dre Greenlaw.
God, you stole my pick.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Obviously, Fred Warner will be the defensive center of attention. I'm not the Mike. Obviously, Charvarius Ward will be probably not targeted very much. I mean, obviously, they're going to have to throw it to him at some point. But the D-line is always on top. But that linebacker core, I think, is what makes a difference for him, and especially Dre Greenlaw. Fred Warner is going to draw a lot of attention for Travis Kelce across the middle, but I think Dre Greenlaw is very underrated in coverage. I think he's been a very good coverage linebacker this year. He drops back into zones a lot, but his pass pressure is what does it for me. He's a very aggressive linebacker, and I think if he plays his best game, the Niners win this game for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to start with Kansas City. My main guy, and I think it's if you really understand and look at what Kansas City has done, you'll know why I'm picking him, Isaiah Pacheco. And I really think if Kansas City wants to win this game against this tough San Francisco defense, you need to run the ball efficiently. I really think if they don't run this ball efficiently, they are not going to win this game. I really think that's just a tail of the tape at that rate. Pacheco really needs to kind of, I wouldn't really say carry Kansas City out of situations where they are forced to pass. I think he really just needs to get those runs, get those quality runs, keep the defense guessing, I think is really what you need to do for him. So that'd be my pick offensively. Defensively, I'm going to go Chris Jones. He is just a havoc, a playmaker. He's playing for a contract. He needs to show out in the biggest game. I mean, he just needs to. I think him getting those pressures in and also makes it easier for that linebacking core led by Drew Tranquill. I really think for Kansas City, Chris Jones needs to keep racking in those pressures. Get some hits on Purdy if you can. Get him flustered. I think that is your top goal if you're Chris Jones. That's why I think he'll do that, and that's my X factor. Going into San Francisco, there's a lot of names you could pick here. I'm going to go a little bit not as much talked about one. Deebo Samuel. I think, obviously, with Ayuk being that top guy, they're going to send their best if they can on him. And I really think if you're Deebo Samuel, you need to show that flash that you had last year. I really think you need to really get efficient on those wide receiver screens, create some openings, even run block. I think run block you need to do a lot of. I think it's not talked about. Be very efficient at run block game to help McCaffrey. I think that could potentially be a make or break it for their offense. Now their defense. I'll make this one a little bit short. You could pick a bunch of these too. But I really think if you really go down and think about it, you need to pressure Mahomes. You need to make that offensive line work and protect him. So, yep, you're mouthing it.
I knew it.
You're
I
right.
know it's Chase Young.
Chase Young, and I'm going to say this now. You trade. I believe, a third rounder for him for a reason. For these moments like these in these big games, he's been shown that he can produce. He can be really good on that pressure. Which really, if you've seen that Tampa Bay Kansas City Super Bowl, why did Tampa Bay win that Super Bowl mainly?
Yep.
Why did they win it?
Wait, what? Sorry.
Why did Tampa Bay win that Super Bowl over Kansas City?
Defensive pressure. They were just getting in Mahomes' face.
And that's what San Francisco needs to do. And I think they're watching that tape looking like, all right, this is what pressure does to them. Receiver core's looking a little bit off, trying to catch us off guard, maybe with that Noah Gray take like you said earlier. Got to get some pressure in there, I think. Hargrave, Bosa, Chase Young. I think Chase Young needs to produce most of that in order for San Francisco to pull one out.
Yeah, and I mean, I've said it before on this podcast, and I will always stand by this take. I know you were just saying it about Noah Gray. I think the only way you can win a Super Bowl in the NFL is if you have that elite quarterback-tight end duo. And, I mean, you see it every year, and you've got arguably the two best tight ends in the league in the Super Bowl this year. I do not think that's a coincidence. And like you said, they're going to be getting in Mahomes' face. They're going to make him have to make a play. And I think every time that tight end core is going to come to his rescue, I really think that this Super Bowl lies in the hands of Kelsey and Gray. I really think so.
Absolutely. I think I agree with that completely.
All right. So right before we end it off, we're going to do a little prediction for the Super Bowl. I'd say just go winner, average like a score prediction, and who you think is going to win Super Bowl MVP.
All right.
30-27 Niners, and McCaffrey wins the MVP.
I'd say that's a pretty common take. Yeah, that's a good take. RJ?
Oh, man, I think it's going to be a very close game. I don't think it's going to be as high scoring because of these defenses and what they've been shown and what they have shown. I really think 24-17, and I really think how they're going to win it is a game-winning rushing touchdown by Christian McCaffrey. I think he goes off. He has a great day. I think he gets the Super Bowl MVP, and I think that San Francisco defense puts some pressure on Mahomes and gives San Fran a title.
All right, and we have a write-in from Andrew here. I have got his prediction. He is making sure that I will give his prediction for this. He is going 27-21 Chiefs, and he has Kelsey scoring a touchdown. And I will say who I think he's going to pick for Super Bowl MVP, Mitch Wishnowsky. We got the Niners punter. I know he loves his punters.
So the punter from the opposing team's winning it?
What's up? Oh, no. Oh, I couldn't even tell you who the Chiefs
Townsend.
punter is. It's Tommy Townsend.
Yeah. I was about to say, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, it'd be a Jerry West type
what
thing.
if?
It'd be a Jerry West type thing. Winning the MVP, Finals MVP after losing the series.
Oh, my God.
They did a really good job of showing that in what was it? Oh, what's the show? Winning Time?
Yeah.
Yeah. But on to my prediction before we end it off here. I am going to go a little bit more of an unconventional route. I am going to go 21-17 Niners. And I think the Super Bowl MVP will be none other than Iowa tight end George Kittle.
Wow.
I
okay.
think
So he has a career day is what you're saying.
Yeah, I just don't think that Kansas City linebacker group can keep up with him. I think he's been having a great postseason so far. I mean, he's almost led the team in receiving yards both games they've played. I know he did it in one. I know he did it against the Packers.
Yep.
But, I mean, I just think they're going to be too focused on those shifty guys on the outside, and it's going to be Kittle getting everything done.
It's a hotter take, but I think it really has that merit. So
yeah,
absolutely.
He's coming back with a vengeance, man. I believe in Kittle. But that is going to do it for us today. Thank you guys for listening and being patient with our upload speed. It has been a little difficult for us to be uploading, but we will get that on track very soon for you guys. Thank you for tuning in for this one. Go Niners.
See ya.
Yeah.